Hi all, it's Jennifer, and my issue paper is going to discuss the theory of connectivism. I chose this topic as I became interested in it a few years ago and started learning about it informally. As I learned more about it, I started to wonder how broadly applicable this new theory was and what it would look like if it was applied outside a MOOC environment. Could this theory be applied to a course that's taught online but not open for anyone to enroll? Say a class that's included in our Learning Technologies program, for example. That's the overview of the presentation. Hope you'll enjoy it. Connectivism is an emerging learning theory that aims to describe how people learn in a network society. Developed in 2005 by George Siemens and Stephen Downes, it combines various principles of chaos, network, complexity, and self-organization theories to show how technology and connection making move learning theories into a digital age. Learning starts when an individual connects with and brings knowledge to a learning community. The learning process is cyclical. Learners connect to a network to share and find new information, modify beliefs based on new learning, then connect to a network to share ideas and begin the cycle again by finding new information. Connectivism is driven by the understanding that decisions are made based on information that is constantly changing, as a learner continuously acquires new information. Drawing distinctions between important and unimportant information is vital. The ability to recognize when new information changes previous decisions is also critical. One of the underlying premises of connectivism is that technology is fundamentally changing the mechanics of learning, how, why, and what people learn. Due to this, a new learning theory is needed that addresses the exponential growth and complexity of information available on the Internet, new possibilities for global communication, and the ability to aggregate different information streams. This is probably a familiar sight to the many educators in our class. Bloom's taxonomy, created in 1959, was developed in a time when learning was not impacted through technology. Over the last 20 years, technology has reorganized how we live, communicate, and learn. In light of this, many researchers and scholars are questioning whether new learning theories are needed. Steve Wheeler is one such scholar. He asks if learning activities such as blogging and crowdsourced learning are able to be described using older pre-digital theories. Can we understand the issues surrounding peer learning or collaborative informal learning that happen outside the classroom using theories that were written to describe what happens in a classroom? Siemens, Downes, and Wheeler are not the only educators with these questions. In the 1990s, a revised version of the taxonomy was created to align with 21st century learning. Also called a digital taxonomy, it addresses new behaviors and actions that have emerged due to technological advances. In order to test their new theory, connectivism was used as the theoretical model underpinning several MOOCs taught by Downes and Siemens. CCK08, recognized as the first MOOC, later spawned 3 other sessions, culminating in 2012. Through social media, course participants shared responses to weekly discussion topics. The numerous social media accounts meant that course content was not located in one place. It was spread throughout the web. This is an illustration of the CCK08 course network structure. Participants received a daily newsletter which aggregated the content, events, and discussions. The connectivist approach has been used in other MOOCs as well. The Educational Technology and Media course explored topics such as digital storytelling, connected learning, and the open movement. The First Steps into Learning and Teaching in Higher Education course was structured as a professional development opportunity for those beginning to teach in higher ed. Connectivism has been used in online courses that are not MOOCs, such as DS-106. This digital storytelling course involves participants creating and remixing media. Similar to the CCK courses, participants create social media accounts in which to share their work. This course has been going on for several years, and the topics and format vary slightly throughout the year. Connectivism is an emerging theory, and numerous researchers have voiced criticisms of it. Verhagen wrote that connectivism is a pedagogical viewpoint rather than a new learning theory. Its description of knowledge is suited for the current times and kind of information skills that students need to acquire. If connectivism was at the theoretical level, it would explore the processes of how people learn. Other researchers have noted that connectivism lacks a strong literature base. Bell notes that this is a young theory and yet untested, which may account for its lack of rigor. Without a solid empirical grounding, connectivism may stay in a thought experiment realm, as termed by David Wiley. In a connectivist environment, the emphasis is on informal learning, and an individual chooses whether or not to engage with experts outside the learning space. A lack of critical engagement by someone in a formal instructor role implies a high level of learner autonomy, which not all online learners possess. Lastly, the connectivism model has not been tested beyond the MOOC environment. Downs and Siemens have not suggested that connectivism is limited to an online space. The theory applies to the larger learning environment, how people learn and understand from the world. If additional research were to be conducted in this area, it would strengthen the connectivism literature base and its viability as a learning theory. Based on some of the criticisms that have been raised about connectivism, is it able to be used outside the MOOC environment? If so, how would it be applied? Schoffen and Magnus offer a potential framework, highlighting connectivism's 4 key principles. Number 1, autonomy. Wherever possible, learners should be guided and able to guide themselves according to their own goals, purposes, objectives, or values. Number 2, connectedness and interactivity. Recognize that some learners may experience tension choosing between interacting with other course participants and having enough space for independent development and personal learning. Number 3, diversity. Each person's unique perspective represents a valuable contribution. Due to the complex nature of connective learning, means that diversity among connective learners may initially be limited. Number 4, openness. Course structure and resources should maximize the sharing of resources, ideas, expertise, and communicating and creating new information through networks. This contrasts with the traditional course structure of closed lectures, proprietary text, and classroom enclosed discussions. Openness, as in sharing in networks, offers a change in perspective and is an essential tenet of connective learning. In closing, connectivism represents a new approach to 21st century teaching and learning. However, as an emerging theory, optimistic and critical concerns and questions about it have been voiced by many educators. This concludes my issue paper presentation on connectivism. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to hearing feedback, comments, and/or questions on Flipgrid.